This represents once again a significant investment in my workshop shed floor. I hope this time it doesn't peel up. Hello YouTube. Finally the time has come. I've got all my paint again. This pile is primer, 100% epoxy. So there's 2 cans of solvent based epoxy, then I've got 4 cans of a clear coat acrylic, polyurethane or something like that. It's going to be really chip resistant, scratch resistant, really hard stuff. It was quite expensive, but the company who supplied me with all this gear is actually a company up north of England who do this for a living, and I've been in contact with him, and this is what they said: if I want to go full on industrial grade warehouse, like heavy machinery and that, and I don't want my paint to peel up and get chipped, etc., use this acrylic stuff, this polyurethane stuff. I can't remember what it is. I'm sure it's acrylic. It says acrylic, but it had Sag House written on it as well.
I'll walk out the epoxy now. Nice and easy, quick, simple. Got some of it up my legs.
Kind of goldeny shitty brown, that one.
It didn't really matter in the end. This is only a primer coat, but I had 2 very different colours on the first lot I ordered, and then the second time round when I ordered it, I had 2 different colours again. I'm spreading the epoxy about with a notch squeegee. This roughly gives about a 1/2 mil layer. Very glad this is only a primer, because this colour looks like arse. I didn't like it at all. It was meant to be grey. In case you're wondering, it is very satisfying walking along and leaving behind this perfectly even coat of epoxy behind me as you just walk along, and it just forms and rolls out lovely. The only downside of this is, god damn, this stuff has got a terrible smell to it. It's incredibly fumey, and it sort of soaks into your skin as well. I was coming into the house and getting told off by the missus and the kids. Even my dog was sort of sneezing around me.
It's now been a week since I did a bit of priming. Unfortunately, the paint didn't go as far as it did last time. Say unfortunately, technically it's a good thing, because that would definitely mean that the floor is not sealed this time and it soaked up the paint quite quickly. You can almost hear it soaking in. Sounds like little bubbles popping. So I had to wait for another order of primer, but unfortunately the delivery company only delivered 1 kit. I had 2 kits on the way, so instead of having to wait only a couple of days, it took them almost a week, because they lost my other parcel. But we have it now, so let's carry on.
In total for primer, I used 30 litres this time round. When I had attempted it last time and the floor was sealed with that silicon siloxane stuff that I was sent incorrectly, 10 litres covered the floor and left a layer. Whereas this time, with the pores of the concrete open and able to absorb the paint, I needed 30 litres. I know it's only a primer, but I did do my best to try and get like a very even layer, so I went back and forth. Any areas where I had left like lines in it, which you can see just in front of where I'm walking now, I reworked the floor and spread it all around so as the squeegee laid the paint out at the right thickness. I figured might as well get it done right this time. If it didn't stick down this time, I wouldn't be doing this again. Sod that.
Ta-da! Gotta walk away for 24 hours now, and then I can put down the blue.
These larger cans of epoxy hold 25 litres of pure epoxy, 100% solids. I started out with 2 cans, but in the end, due to grinding the floor so much and lowering the level of it quite significantly to help remove the step that had come into the shed, I didn't want to grind it in case rain came in. So I chose to use 8 cans of these 25 kilo kits. So there's 200 kilos of 100% epoxy on my floor, giving me, I guess, about 6mm, 8mm thick layer. It's quite thick, but it took the step out, which is what I wanted to achieve. It's a 60 square metre space, so I put 4 coats down, and then each coat, just to help try and take some of the lines out from the grinding, I back rolled. Unlike last time when I done the floor, I buffed the floor up and I had the floor like almost like glass. I spent so long this time around grinding the old concrete up that I got the floor pretty much level, but with some variation of like little grooves and little chips and whatnot where the grinder had removed it. I relied on the paint to help smooth all that out. I didn't have the patience this time round to buff the floor and get it all smooth and glass-like.
What I'm doing currently is I'm putting a clear coat acrylic down and it's just got to go down very, very thin. I've done 2 coats, hence why it is super shiny in here. You know, the lights come through the window and it's just bouncing, and I put a floodlight on because it's rainy like mad. Yeah, so I've got 2 more coats of this clear acrylic to go down.
My big mistake was temperature. My first 2 coats had witnesses of bubbles coming through them where the epoxy was cold, and as the gases came up through the concrete, the epoxy was thicker and they wouldn't pop. I did fix this first time round, and then after that I added a large diesel torpedo heater that I've got, a 20 kilowatt one, and I kept that running on a timer 24 hours a day, 15 minutes on, 15 minutes off. That seems to have done it.
Clearly, me being the professional I am, I'm walking around in my socks, you know. So yeah, let's put this next coat down. I will be glad to get this over with, to be fair.
The reason for me wearing socks and not shoes was, firstly, my shoes were picking up dust and stuff from outside my shed and it was raining. Also, the treads on the soles were leaving a slight witness in the clear acrylic. I found that by wearing just my socks, I didn't leave any harsh witnesses in the acrylic that would show through after it had all cured. If anyone's wondering why I'm actually walking around in my socks, as I was just asked why by my missus, and now she's looking at me thinking, stop recording because I'm going to say something.
You need to trim your beard, your tash.
Charming.
This stuff stinks.
The other bad thing about this clear coat, besides the smell, is it's really difficult to see when you're spreading it around where you put it and where you haven't put it. I sort of came up with the idea of listening. You could hear a different sound in areas where you had laid a coat to areas where you hadn't just laid a coat.
Painted my floor. My supplier told me 7 days at 20C to cure. I waited 21 days and it still hadn't fully cured. Not the epoxy, the clear coat acrylic. Contacted the manufacturer and they told me in this weather it can be sort of as long as it needs. I need to heat everything. Started out with a torpedo heater, gave up. I've gone over the list. This is going to be in the next video. So this is the end of it. It's all down and obviously I'm sat on it. It's not fully cured. If I were to put a cut-and-ton milling machine in here, I think it will leave a mark in the clear coat polyurethane finish. The epoxy has cured. So now it's time. Just got to wait. On to the next subject. After recently deciding my torpedo heater was far too expensive to run in this shed, I got one of these diesel parking heaters. First thing, it came with instructions. They're bloody useless.